Hi, I'm Tia with JJ Safety. Today in Women's History Month is Frances Perkins. On March 25, 1911, 1 year after the first successful labor strike led by women, Frances Perkins witnessed the Triangle Factory fire in New York City. The fire resulted in 146 worker deaths, a majority of young immigrant women.
We heard the engines and we heard the screams and rushed out and rushed over where we could see that the trouble was, and the people had just begun to jump when we got there. And every one of them was killed. Everybody who jumped was killed.
Deeply impacted by what she witnessed, Frances Perkins quickly became one of the most significant voices of worker rights in her era. In 1912, she joined the New York Committee on Safety and is credited with helping pass 38 new labor laws, such as the adoption of building codes and workplace safety in New York factories. When New York's governor, Franklin D. Roosevelt, became the 32nd President of the United States, Frances Perkins was appointed as the 4th Secretary of Labor and became the first woman to ever serve in a presidential cabinet. As Secretary of Labor, Frances was a driving force in writing legislation for what would be known in history as the New Deal. On April 10, 1980, the Department of Labor building in Washington, D.C. was dedicated and renamed Frances Perkins Department of Labor Building, commemorating her devotion and contributions to workplace safety and labor rights for all Americans. The video in this segment was published by NBC News Center, Maine, on December 22, 2020, entitled, How a Woman with Maine Roots Improved the Lives of Millions. To view the original NBC video, follow the link below.
When Franklin Roosevelt became president in 1933, the U.S. economy was all but paralyzed by the Great Depression. On Inauguration Day, Roosevelt promised action.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Playing a crucial role in FDR's economic reforms was his Secretary of Labor, Frances Perkins, who smashed through a glass ceiling as the first woman ever to serve in a president's cabinet. Before being appointed, she presented FDR with a list of what she wanted to accomplish and told him she wouldn't take the job unless he supported that agenda.
And that included Social Security, included worker safety, included unemployment insurance, disability insurance. And they took the plans that they developed and brought it to the nation in the New Deal. And that's why Roosevelt wanted her there. Frances Perkins' roots ran deep in Maine. Her family had lived in this house and worked the surrounding saltwater farm in Newcastle since the 1700s. Although Perkins grew up in Massachusetts, she spent summers here as a child and considered it home. The course of her life was changed in college by a professor who insisted that students visit nearby factories to see for themselves the deplorable working conditions. She was astonished at what she saw. Young children, young girls, working massive industrial textile machines. There was no regulation for that kind of factory activity at that time.
It would have been pretty typical back then for the workers to put in a 56-hour week, 54 hours a week rather, 9 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Exactly, and the age of the children was astonishing.
How young were they?
I think as young as 12 years old.
Frances Perkins went to work for the New York City Consumers League, fighting for improved workplace safety and better working conditions for women and children in factories. In 1911, she witnessed a fire at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in Manhattan, where 146 people died, many of them workers who couldn't get out because the exit doors had been locked by management.
She remarked that all of New York, all New Yorkers were horrified that this could happen and that it could not continue. She referred to it later in life as the day the New Deal was born.
Perkins was named executive secretary of the commission that investigated that fire. Its recommendations led to lasting changes in workplace safety.
That work started her on her way, not only in industrial safety, but looking out for the economic well-being of workers.
As Secretary of Labor, Perkins helped push through in 1938 the first federal minimum wage, 25 cents an hour. Another item on her agenda that became law that year, setting the maximum work week at 44 hours.
Perhaps the most lasting part of her legacy, Social Security.
Yeah. When one would ask her in the 1960s, what was your greatest accomplishment? Without question, 2 words, Social Security.
What was it that gave her the drive, that gave her the moxie to be able to do these things she did as the first woman in a presidential cabinet who was taking on such big challenges?
She did not understand, and she asked her parents this, why are some people poor and why are some people wealthy? And this isn't right. This is no way for a country to continue to develop. She spent her life addressing that problem.
For 12 turbulent years through the Depression and then World War II, Perkins served as Secretary of Labor. But in the summer, she always came back to Maine.
The month of August was always without appointments in her Washington calendar. That is, she would come here, probably decompress for a couple of days and not do much of anything, and then enjoy her family's homestead and get rejuvenated by it.
The property is now known as the Frances Perkins Homestead National Historic Landmark. It is owned by the nonprofit Frances Perkins Center in Damariscotta, which is devoted to preserving the property, promoting the principles Perkins fought for, inspiring citizens, and engaging civic leaders.
March is Women's History Month.
At JJ Safety, we're honored to bring awareness to the contributions women have made to the United States.
We are proud to recognize the achievements women have made over the course of America's history in a variety of fields.
As advocates, leaders, experts, professionals, dignitaries, and so much more. We are daughters, sisters,
mothers, friends, mentors.
We are a community.
And we are a family.
A family.
A family.
A family. And we're happy to join millions of other Americans in
celebrating and bringing awareness to the vital role
of women in American history.
For more content, subscribe to our channel and follow JJ Safety on our other social media platforms.